Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online Series 7 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out another team from the Players Cup 2 Global Finals. This one was built by a player called Nick Navarre, who also goes by Nails. I linked his Twitter in the description below. He is a fantastic player and has been such a top player for many years now, and he brought a really cool team to the Players Cup 2 Finals. He actually did a really cool video with Adi, who we actually have featured a couple of his teams on the channel in the last couple of months, and it's on Adi's YouTube channel, so please go check that out. Adi is making some of the most educational VGC content out right now, and is honestly super underrated and deserves way more subscribers. So I've linked his channel in the description below, as well as the video that I'm referencing. Nick and Adi basically talk about the team for over an hour, and talk about things like how to really use it, how the team came together, and how Nick did in the Players Cup 2 Finals. So all that good stuff is down below, and it's a rental, so feel free to try it out yourselves as well. So I wanted to feature this team because while it looks pretty standard in terms of Pokemon, you've got a lot of cool tricks up its sleeve. For example, as you can see, it has Bind Dusclops. Bind is a really interesting move. I actually had to look it up to confirm the full effects. So basically, it traps your opponent in for a couple of turns, and it also does residual damage each turn let the Pokemon that used Bind is on the field. So one thing that this team does is you actually get a lot of passive damage off through the combination of Venusaur's Gmax Vine Lash and Bind from Dusclops. In addition, Grimmsnarl can set up Light Screen and Reflect, basically making Dusclops very difficult to knock out. One of the few things, of course, you have to watch out for is going to be those Urshifus, but otherwise, Dusclops can survive almost any attack in the metagame fairly easily and then heal back up with, something like a Pain Split. So you've got screens on the Grimmsnarl, you've got Life Orb Venusaur, very offensive, wants to just do as much damage as possible and try to get that Vine Lash off immediately. You've got Bind on Dusclops. And then to round out the team, you've got AB Landorus, pretty standard set. Citrus, Body Press Yontorkoal. This is a set that we saw rise up a little bit in, Series 5. And then White Herb Glastrier. Nick mentioned that the main mode of the team is going to be typically Grimmsnarl Venusaur with Dusclops Glastrier in the back, where you actually max the Venusaur. So this Glastrier is interesting because you actually often don't max it, and the White Herb obviously helps out against opposing Intimidates, but also is valuable for getting rid of your defense and special defense drop when you use a close combat. So a lot of interesting things going on here. I think that this is a team that requires a lot of attention. I just played a couple of practice games with it, and it definitely is not as straightforward as I'd say some of the other teams that we featured on the channel are. But that being said, this team is so methodical and can really just net you a lot of wins if you position yourself properly. So it's all about knowing when to get that residual damage off and how to best utilize it. And having only played a couple of games with it, I definitely don't think I've mastered it by any means, but I'm eager to try it out, and I think it's just so different from a lot of the teams that we featured on this channel so far, because I think so much of what you've seen in VGC Series 7 is, just heavy offense, try to set up, like a weakness policy Pokemon and then just sweep through, for example, right? Or set up Tailwind or Trick Room and just completely sweep through. This team, not really the case. You're going to extend your games a lot longer because you have all of this bulk, you have the residual damage, and what's kind of crazy is that Grimmsnarl Dusclops is actually a huge win con, right? Dusclops alone can stay on the field pretty much forever if it doesn't have to worry about super effective attacks and you have screens up. And so you basically make it very difficult to knock out while you get the Bind residual damage off turn after turn after turn. So let's get into today's episode. Thank you to Nick and Adi for posting information about this team. Once again, feel free to try it out. And wow, that is an interesting team for the first game today. That's a Thievul. I don't know very much about Thievul other than that I think it gets unburdened, so Thievul and Koko is definitely a possible lead here. And then it's Bronzong, Glastrier, Volcarona, and Primarina. That is definitely a very cool team. I'm a big fan. So typically the lead with this team is Grimmsnarl plus Venusaur. Obviously the Volcarona scares me a little bit here. And then I can go Dusclops in the back. See, the thing is, if I go with the primary 4, I am a little bit weak to the Volcarona, which is where AV Landorus could come in huge. But AV Landorus is so bad against the Glastrier from my opponent's end. Also, I actually think Torkoal might be the bring here. But Torkoal's so bad against everything other than the Glastrier and the Bronzong. But I guess both of those are pretty big problems for us. What's Glastrier hitting here? Torkoal isn't. Actually, I guess, yeah, maybe we bring Torkoal instead of the Glastrier here. I don't know. Let's see. This Grimmsnarl also has Burning Jealousy, which is interesting, although I don't think it'll be super relevant here. So let's get into today's episode. Thank you as always for watching. If you enjoy, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Question of the day, with us running Bind Dusclops, I want to know what is the most unexpected set you've ever run into while playing VGC. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, it's Koko Thievul. I'm actually happy to see that because I think I can just light screen turn 1 and then max Venusaur. That feels decently fine. I mean, I guess there might be a Volcarona in the back, right? That could be scary. I could see light screen. I just don't know what Thievul does here. I've really never gone up against it, actually, at all. I know Moxie Boost has used it a bit before. And so, in a situation in which we're going up against the unknown, I think I'm just going to try to knock out Thievul. I'm just going to Vine Lash into it and try to pick up a KO onto that. Koko maxing here would be interesting. Oh, you know what would be really interesting if it were Physical Koko with max flying. Oh no, I didn't even think about that. But they just switched Koko out. Okay, Volk? Into Bronzong, that's fine with me. Okay, I don't mind that. That is a decent turn 1, I would say. We get screens up. We get one of the screens up, and then we can get the other one next turn, and I get residual damage here too. Okay, yeah, it's a good thing I didn't ooze into that slot immediately into Koko, but like I said, I don't know what Thievul does, so I'd rather just get that out of the field as quickly as possible. So I think having Dusclops and Torkoal in the back is valuable here. Okay, we get light screen up. That's good. What does Thievul do? Oh, it's just snarling. Okay, I don't mind that. Because this team doesn't really do that much damage anyway. It's more about getting the residual effect off. Unfortunately, though, I think that this means Thievul should survive even after the residual. Yeah, it's definitely going to survive, but that's fine. Because I can just set up my second screen, which is Reflect. The only thing is I don't want to knock out Thievul and then give my opponent a free switch into the, into what? The Glastrier. I mean, I should Reflect here, right? I just have the possibility of actually switching Grimmsnarl out into Dusclops and then just binding the Bronzong immediately. I think that's worth considering, but maybe I do that next turn. Like, I really don't think I want to KO the Thievul right now. So I'm leaning towards Reflect and actually Vine Lashing Bronzong because I want Thievul to stay in on the field. Because I think Trick Room's going to go up, right? I just want to get the Reflect up before the Glastrier comes in. Yeah, it's just another Snarl, but that's fine. And now I'm going to switch Grimmsnarl out into Dusclops next turn and go for Bind onto the Dusclops. Sorry, onto the Bronzong. I don't think Bronzong can really heal itself very easily either. So Thievul is actually not that much of a concern. Honestly, see, every little bit of damage matters with this team, right? So even though that's not much onto Bronzong, the main thing here is that I knew Trick Room was going up. I don't want my opponent to just get a free switch in, and that's one really important way in playing around Trick Room because it basically burns a turn of Trick Room immediately, which is actually a very big deal. They're buried. Wow, Citrus? Interesting. That is not the item you often see on Bronzongs. But works out for my opponent here. It's actually kind of a nuisance. Okay, so I'm going to switch Grimmsnarl out here into Dusclops now and just go for another Vine Lash onto the... I mean, is there a point in boosting myself? What could be in the back? I guess Primarina. That would actually be really interesting. I didn't consider that possibility. I was playing like it was Glastrier this entire time, but it would be bizarre for it not to be Glastrier, to be honest. So I think I want to switch out into the Dusclops here, and I think I am just going to go for a Vine Lash onto Bronzong. Even if it's Primarina, it's fine. I'm just going to switch Venusaur out, probably Bind onto the Primarina, and then try to reverse Trick Room. But want to conserve the Grimmsnarl here. Okay, so we get a third Vine Lash off onto Bronzong. Yeah, that Citrus is honestly huge. Allows Bronzong to hang on for a lot longer. It's just a third Snarl, which is fine. Dusclops takes that, fine. Only downside is obviously we've Dynamax first, but you are going to often do that with this team because you just want that residual damage off the bat. Whoa, that was interesting. I didn't see that coming. The Trick Room reversal, that's fascinating. Wow. Which makes me think they're going to bring in Tapu Koko, right? Very cool. That was a very cool play. One in which I had pretty much not considered at all. Okay, so now what do we do? You probably bring in Koko, but then it's like, what do you even do? Because I can switch Venusaur out. I'm shocked they Trick Room there. That's really interesting. Maybe you do have Primarina or Volcarona in the back then. But then why Trick Room with Bronzong in the first place? Yeah, okay, it is Glastrier. That's what I thought. Okay. So now what do we do? I don't have Intimidate, but I have Torkoal in the back. That's obviously kind of helpful. And there's what, one more turn of Vine Lash damage? Yeah, that's just nice. I think I'm just going to switch Venusaur out into Torkoal here. Huh. I was going to say I could Sleep Powder, but Terrain is still up, so I can't. Gosh, I honestly want to Pain Split into Glastrier right now. You probably Trick her with Bronzong. Yeah, I'm going to Pain Split. I just want to... We basically stall out the Dynamax, right? I think Glastrier always maxes, and we can stall out this max, we should win the game. This Torkoal has max HP, max defense, and we have Reflect up, so we should definitely survive on Max Quake. Oh, but it's probably Weakness Policy. Actually, the play was to have KO'd Bronzong here with Nightshade, I think. Yeah, because it would have fainted from Nightshade plus the residual. That was a bad Pain Split. I don't know why I really went for that. That was not a smart play on my end, I think. Yeah, I'm really not a fan. I really should have Nightshaded Bronzong there. That was by far the best play, I think. So, not great on my end. Yeah, they go for Quake. Ooh, did that target the Venus? Oh, very good play. But you can see how tanky Torkoal is there. It doesn't really take much. Nightshade onto Bronzong would have been much better there, but it's fine. Oh, they went... Oh, they just went for side body press immediately. Okay. So not setting up Trick Room. That's interesting. Then actually Nightshade wouldn't have accomplished much. And I actually really like that play on my opponent's end because it covers for me Nightshading as well. We actually end up healing it here first. I was expecting my opponent to target the Dusclops there, which is why I went for that play. Okay, so Policy's activated. That's a problem. The upside, though, is that screens are up. 5 turns of Reflect, +2 attack. I don't want Trick Room to go up right now, given what I have in the back. So I think I will just launch a Nightshade here onto the Bronzong, and a Body Press onto the... Do I Protect with... Like, Protect here is super obvious, right? I can see my opponent Hailstorming into Dusclops. I think I will lean towards just attacking here. Yeah. That was a nice play. The Trick Room reversal was super interesting. I still have to deal with Thievul in the back. Okay, they just end up going for Quake. It does target Torkoal. Okay. It's not really that bad, though. Like, one of the big questions is, honestly, what item do you have on that Tapu Koko? Yeah, I thought they would have read into Torkoal Protect there, so maybe I should have played towards that. And they doubled up, it looked like, onto the Torkoal, too, which is interesting. So they're at +3 attack right now. Nightshade will finish off the Bronzong. I have screens up still. Terrain is gone, which is sad because if Koko was forced last turn, which is why I should have KO'd it, then my opponent couldn't reset the terrain, and then Venusaur could put in the work. I have Burning Jealousy on this thing. Man, I mean, I have to say, it actually might really come down to what set you have on the Koko. Does it have Protect? I feel like it must, right? Because obviously I can just Sludge Bomb Tapu Koko right now. That's super obvious. And they can just Hailstorm us. Really should just knocked out the Bronzong before the Policy went off. That was a bad play on my end, and the Trick Room reversal was so smart on their end. Okay, I'm gonna go for the Bind here onto Glastrier and the Sludge Bomb. They don't Protect with Koko, though. That's actually huge. Are they sashed? No. Okay. I think maybe we're okay then. I mean, Glastrier maybe just one-shots everything right now, though. Okay, they're gonna Hailstorm. Yeah, into Venusaur. I get the Bind off, which is huge. The Dynamax ends, and I have Burning Jealousy on the Grimmsnarl on the back. So I think we should be good here, but it's It was too close for comfort, because I thought the early game went really well for us. This thing's at +4 attack, by the way, too, which is really scary. And Bind could miss, but we are able to connect it there. Okay. Okay, we bring in Grimmsnarl, obviously. Reflect is still up. I don't even think a +4 Hailstorm... Sorry, +4 Ice Cold Crash knocks out Dusclops, to be honest, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, though, like, if Koko just protected there, I think we would lose. So, I don't know what set it was. +4, +2, +2. We've got Burning Jealousy. The only question is whether or not to Trick Room here. If we had Fake Out, I feel like this would definitely be a wrap, but I don't. The reason I'd want a Trick Room is so that I can Nightshade first. Does it really make much of a difference? I think I have to just Nightshade Burning Jealousy here anyway. Plus, I don't think my opponent expects Burning Jealousy in this position. So, both Bind and Burning Jealousy are really nice techs on this team. Okay, so we get that off. It's actually not really that great damage. Actually, if you just knock out Dusclops, I lose, right? Because I don't have to Bind off anymore. So let's see if this KOs us. Okay, it does target Grimmsnarl. This is where it gets the +5 attack, though. So I don't know if Nightshade plus a Bind does enough here. Let's see. I don't think it does. We need one more turn. Alright, so now it's a question of whether or not the Glastrier one-shots Dusclops from the range that it's at. Oh, this was so close. Wish Burning Jealousy just did a little bit more damage. Yeah, we always just Nightshade here. There's no reason to go for anything else. Let's see. Can Glastrier pull it off? +5 Ice Cold Crash against Dusclops, but Reflect is up. Yeah, Dusclops is too clutch. Wait. Does Bind finish it off? I think it does, right? Please tell me it does. Wow. Okay, I definitely don't think I played the mid-game very well, though, because the early game went well for us. Glastrier is kind of scary to play around. The Max Quake into the Venusaur slot was really good on my opponent's end, so my Torkoal took more damage than it needed to. The one big play I can point to in this game was not going for the Nightshade on the Bronzong, going for that Pain Split. I think that was a wasted turn on my end. And the reason I read into that was because I thought my opponent would read into me protecting that turn. But they played better in that mid-game. So I'm not really too happy about this win just because it wasn't like guaranteed, especially if Koko had Protect or Focus Sash, both which I think are fairly likely. We'd probably lose that game. So I needed to do better. And it would have started from denying the KO, the weakness policy. Because if weakness policy doesn't go off, Dusclops should win that game. So it's interesting because Dusclops is actually very much can be a carry with this team. Okay, we're up against Pheromosa Glastrier, so obviously there's potential speed swap stuff there, but there's also potential taunt. I don't think I can really get away with Torkoal Venusaur. The main mode is always Dusclops, Venusaur, Grimmsnarl, Grimmsnarl, Venusaur, Dusclops, Glastrier, according to Nick. So that's like normally the mode. You have to ask yourself why not to bring that mode, basically. And not to say they're like that mode does fall short against a lot of things, but here can it be good? The Thundurus is scary. Maybe we consider maxing Glastrier, actually. I think I have to bring Torkoal because of the Ferrothorn, though. Do I just go like Trick Room stuff? I don't know. Like, what if I just went Grimmsnarl, Dusclops, Torkoal, Glastrier? I don't get the residual damage off, but Venusaur into a matchup with Thundurus, Ferrothorn, and Glastrier feels kind of like a throw. But I guess my opponent could max their Primarina, so I don't know. It's tough, because I think I always want to bring Venusaur with this team, because that residual damage is so good, but with any good team, you don't want to lock yourself in playing with just one mode, right? And it's important to identify when a Pokemon falls a little bit short, and you can't bring it as easily. Okay, that is going to be Pheromosa and Glastrier. That's fine with me, for a multitude of reasons. Yeah, I think we can just Reflect turn one. Yep, it is Sashed and White Herb. Okay. I am down to Reflect. And I think Trick Rooming here is fine, regardless of... It covers both Speed Swap and non-Speed Swap. I could just Bind, actually, but... I think I'd rather Trick Room here, because I outspeed with the Dusclops under Trick Room. Okay, they Dynamax first, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, starting off with Reflect is really valuable here, I would say. And once again, like, this Dusclops is so hard to KO. Like, we just survived a +5 Icicle Crash from the Glastrier in that last game. If that doesn't speak to Dusclops' bulk under Reflect, I don't know what will. I guess surviving a +5 max move, but that's hard. Okay, we get the Reflect off. They're gonna go for... coaching. Okay. That may be a problem. Especially if you one-shot the Grimmsnarl here. Okay, but it doesn't one-shot us, that's good. But that's still a problem because you can get another boost. Well, actually no, this next turn I can... No, I can't double up on Pheromosa, right? Because Glastrier outspeeds. Yeah, it's coaching and speed swap, which is kind of the norm with Glastrier. We don't have Will-O-Wisp, so that doesn't help. If you're my opponent, it's safest to Max Quake Grimmsnarl, or even Knuckle it, because it covers for a switch-out option. Do I even need to set up a light screen in this matchup? Not really. Only helps out against Primarina, which I don't think actually comes out here. I just don't want my opponent to get a boost off. Because then it'll be a +3 attack after the turn, if you get a coaching off as well. So I'm leaning towards switching out into Torkoal, because I have the Reflect up. Yeah, I think that's the play. Go out into Torkoal, and just go for a Nightshade here. Yeah. This duo was troublesome, though. Perhaps I needed to lead Torkoal? Leading Venusaur wouldn't have worked. Landorus is terrible to bring against Glastrier, too. And they didn't have Fake Out, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have gone for the Fake Out. Okay, they switched. That's fine. Into their own Dusclops. Okay. I think that's okay. I mean, obviously we can reverse the Trick Room right now, which is part of the scary thing, but I guess we take that. Let's see if they Quaked here. Yeah, good play. I still don't think I can give up Grimmsnarl, though. Yeah, and Torkoal survives because we're Citrus, so it's fine. Just because Glastrier, if it gets a single attack boost under Trick Room, is just so scary. We know it's White Herb, so I don't have to worry about a potential weakness policy setup from the opposing side, which is good. What I want to go for here. I want to Yawn, I think, into... Yeah, definitely going to Yawn here. And, Bind would be interesting. I honestly think my opponent tries to reverse the Trick Room right now, but I don't know. Maybe they just Pain Split. Yeah, I definitely want to Yawn, though, I think. I'm going to read into them reversing Trick Room and try to reverse their reverse. Ugh, they just Nightshaded, though. Didn't call that correctly. Okay, it's still fine. I mean, I get a Yawn off against a Glastrier, which I think is very valuable. So, could be worse. Because the reality is, now I can just go into my Glastrier, right? And I can Dynamax it. I need a Pain Split, though, with my Dusclops. Yeah, I thought reversing Trick Room would have made a lot of sense there for my opponent's end, but I guess they were like, I'm going to knock out the Torkoal anyway, so why do I need to reverse Trick Room? Which also makes sense. But the good thing here is that we stalled out our opponent's Dynamax, and now we have a Dynamax to play towards. So I can bring out Glastrier. We have to use this Glastrier well, though. Other problem is that I lost Torkoal, which means now if there's a Ferrothorn in the back, which I think is rather likely, that will be tough, too. But at least it's not weakness policy Glastrier on the opposing end right now. Okay, so I just reversed Trick Room. This thing's drowsy, so I don't think you're going to want to stay in. But maybe they say, screw it, I'm just going to close combat. You don't know the item of my Glastrier, though, so I think you'd have to be worried about close combat. I really want to just max Knuckle into that more than anything. What could switch in right now? We know Pheromosa's in the back. That's not really a big threat, and I do think Ferrothorn's likely to be the last one. So I'm honestly leaning towards protecting here. And maybe a Pain Split. Maybe they double up onto Dusclops, and if they do, that's a great play on their end. But they stay in with Glastrier, which is what I want to see. I want to see them close combat us here, ideally. They just Ice Cold Crush, though. Okay. We should survive this with Reflect being up. But we are in Nightshade KO range. But we go first before. Nice. Okay, that's actually such a big deal. That is such a big deal. Yeah, and they Shade. Okay, good play on their end. But this works out very nicely now. Okay, that's actually so huge. Because now I can just Knuckle away. So I'm going to Dynamax and just Knuckle into the opposing slot. I'm going to Feint if I switch in there. So that doesn't work. Yeah, I think it's just Dynamax, Knuckle, and just Pain Split into Dusclops. Or would I rather get the KO on Glastrier, because I don't want to double up there? That's kind of scary. No, but I kind of need to heal up too. Yeah, I'm down to Knuckle and Pain Split here into Dusclops. I think if my Dusclops fainted, that game was likely lost. So the margins are really thin when you use this team, and I don't think I played it well, because I put myself in these positions where it's as close as it is. And I feel like if I played this better, I'd have like very big advantages, but haven't really been able to execute very well. Pheromosa plus Glastrier was a tricky lead, though, I have to say. And I expected it, to be honest, but the coaching kind of threw me in for a little bit of a loop. Okay, so Glastrier takes a turn of sleep. That's fine. I think if my opponent takes a 2-turn sleep here, it's doomed for them, but let's see. Because the reality is that my Glastrier gets the +3 attack after this next turn, which is obviously very good for us. Okay, looks like we are just consistently faster than the Dusclops, which is good to know. So I heal back a little bit more. Ah, and they go for Trick Room. Okay. I guess if you actually had Will-O-Wisp on Dusclops this entire time, this gets dicier. But I'm just going to Knuckle here into the... Ooh, actually, I think I want to just KO the... Yeah, I can just Icicle Crash here, actually. And Nightshade. That seems better. No, I guess Dusclops can Pain Split Glastrier, yeah. And I don't think I one-shot it with... Oh, yeah, it heals back to full. There's no way I do. Alright, that was a waste of an attack. What I should have done was probably Knuckle into the Glastrier and then reverse Trick Room. Because now I don't get an... I could have gotten a +3 attack after this turn. And instead, I only get to... I'm still at +1. Plus, my opponent can just heal back next turn. So, that was a poor play on my end. I think Pain Split on a Glastrier was super obvious there. But that makes me think they don't have Will-O-Wisp, which is good to know. Yeah, I keep making, I feel like, one bad play with this team. And, like, you don't really have that much room to make one bad play when you're trying out this team. So, that's my B. Yeah, I really could have just swept through Glastrier here. I was not... Oh, I do have Burning Jealousy on that, Yeah, in the back, though, which actually might be really valuable. Plus, I can bind, too, right? So, they are probably just going to Pain Split again. Maybe Iron Defense. I want to just Max Guard here, I think, and Nightshade Dusclops. Let's see if they read into a Max Guard. If you are Iron Defense, Body Press, Leech Seed, Ferrothorn, I can bind and Pain Split away. Okay, they protect Ferrothorn. That was expected, yeah. That's good, though, by the way, because that means they're not getting an Iron Defense off this turn. Okay, they didn't Pain Split. They just Nightshade there. Which is a nice play on their end, admittedly, but we KO them in return. And that's the most important thing. Yeah, that's huge. Okay. I think we should be good here, but it was such a bad play to have Hailstorm. Like, I should have just Knuckled into the Glastrier instead. I guess my opponent could have Ally Switched, so that was, like, a potential thing we were covering for. Yeah, now what? You bring out Pheromosa, which shouldn't really do anything to us, and you don't have a Focus Sash intact anymore. Plus, I have Close Combat available to me right now, which is good. How many turns of Trick Room are left? 2. Okay, I'd rather Icicle Crash here, I think, and Pain Split. Okay, they go for Iron Defense, but that's fine. Because if I KO Pheromosa, I think we should be good here. Was Bind better to go? No, I think I always need to heal up first in this position. Okay, Icicle Crash does not miss, which is huge. Perfect. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, good. That's a KO. Good, good, good. I was worried about Pheromosa protecting there, potentially, but fortunately enough, they didn't. Okay, and now we have Pain Split, we have Bind, we have Nightshade. Hail was up as well, so they're basically not getting any leftovers recovery on a turn-by-turn basis. Got Burning Jealousy in the back as well, though that's not super valuable at the moment. Reflect does wear up. I do think the play here is probably to protect. Like, I want to protect and bind here. They might go for a second Iron Defense, but the thing is that Ferrothorn can't touch Dusclops other than Leech Seed. And I just want to get... Yeah, they just forfeit. Okay. So we ended up winning this one, but like I said, I can't help but think that I have not played either game perfectly. And I feel like if you play with this team perfectly, you just kind of demolish. But the reality is that I didn't in either match. But it's a good thing that we were able to win despite not playing perfectly, but I did have some lapses in my play. Like, I told you in that first game, it was going for the Pain Split immediately. That wasn't a smart play. And then in this game, it was going for the... Yeah, the turn that I let the Dusclops just Pain Split into my Glastrier was unacceptable. It would have been better to just Knuckle there, but I guess if my opponent ally switched there, I would have looked a lot smarter. So it's not even like the play I made was terrible. It does cover for an ally switch option, but I don't know. In the end, it ended up working out, but I can't help but think I didn't play it super, super well. Alright, third game of the day, and we're up against Zapdos, Suicune, Metagross, Tornadus, Tapu, Bulu, and Dracovish. Wow, I haven't seen Tapu Bulu in a minute. Okay, can we go Venusaur? There's so many flying types. Probably not, then. I mean, Dynamax Glastrier doesn't look that bad here. Grimmsnarl. Early screens is nice. Can't get taunted by Tornadus. That's very nice. I mean, what's wrong with the classic Grimmsnarl, Venusaur, Dusclops, Glastrier? What is this weak to? Zapdos max Airstream, but then I can just Light Screen turn 1. I feel like Tornadus Zapdos is just a possible lead here. So, like, that's my one reason that I'm a little bit hesitant here. Okay, let's try out Grimmsnarl Landorus then. My opponent has a lot of... I don't know. Because I can just Light Screen. Actually, yeah, because we have Glastrier too, I'm down to just go with Grimmsnarl, Venusaur, Dusclops, Glastrier. I think it could be okay here. I don't like Torkoal too much here. I feel like my opponent likely has Rain Dance on Tornadus, but I don't know. Either way, Torkoal doesn't do that much damage, and they're 2 water types, so you can completely walls it. I think Landorus could be definitely a good call here, but I'm a little scared to bring it into a Suicune and a Dracovish, but I suppose like Landorus under screens is actually really difficult to knock out. So, I don't know. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? That is Dracovish and Tornadus. I think this works, right? I think this works. Let's just Ooh, they could be Psychic Fangs. Wait, that'd be kind of cool, actually. Ooh, that'd be very cool. I wonder if you're Scarf Psychic Fangs. Either way, I think I want to Reflect, Max, and Vine Lash. You can even Max Tornadus here. Like, maybe I should have Light Screen here. I just assumed they were going to Tailwind, or I don't know, maybe Rain Dance with Tornadus. Landorus would have worked here, right? If I led Landorus, what I do? Reflect, Max Rockfall turn 1. That works. And then we have Intimidate plus the... Yeah, Intimidate plus the Reflect, so... And we're Dynamax, so you don't do nearly as much damage. I don't know what to expect from this, to be honest. Can Vine Dusclops be good here? I think so. I think it can be decent. Yeah, it is Rain Dance. Okay, so that's actually what I was expecting. But I think that's fine, given that I get Reflect up and move before Dracovish. Dracovish should feint to the Vine Lash combo, too. If it doesn't, is that a problem? Maybe. Oh, they actually target Venusaur. That actually could be an issue, assuming you have Zapdos in the back. But I think now what we do is just bring out Dusclops, set up Trick Room, and go from there. Oh, but then you can just taunt with Tornadus, can't you? Maybe, yeah. I have Spirit Break, though, actually. That's huge. But maybe I should have Light Screen turn 1. I mean, I would have taken more damage from Dracovish, but I feel like Zapdos should come out now. Unless they didn't bring it, but I feel like if you see Torkoal Venusaur, you have to bring Zapdos. No, it's Metagross. Actually, yeah, I guess, yeah, because you have manual Rain Dance. Never mind, that makes sense. Okay, I'm down a light screen here. Wait, you know what I'm down for? I set up Reflect, and I have Burning Jealousy here. And they're going to Steel Spike here. Wait, yeah, I'm just Burning Jealousy Max Guard. Oh, unless they Brutal Swing, Policy, knock out Grimmsnarl. That's a possibility. But the thing is, I don't think my opponent ever expects Burning Jealousy here, and Venusaur should be slightly scarier. Yeah, I actually might have greeted myself a little bit too much this turn, actually. I couldn't have knocked out Tornadus turn 1, though, which is part of the problem. Yeah, and if I let Landorus here, my opponent just brings in Metagross, Tailwinds, Hailstorms, Landorus. And isn't that really bad for us? I think so. I'm hoping to cheese them here with the Burning Jealousy. Alright, they just Tailwind. Okay, then I think we should be good. But they just oh no, I actually might have just activated a Policy. I thought they were going to Steel Spike there for sure. But that play wasn't very good, because if you're going to boost your stats up, you'd have to target Venusaur. Oh, that was not very smart at all. Honestly, I don't think it actually makes that much of a difference, because I think my opponent would have just gone for Brutal Swing here this next turn anyway. Assuming they have it, but I'd be shocked if you didn't have it. But that play does not get us very far. I do think you... maybe you just Hurricane here. But then actually I can Light Screen to hope to survive the Hurricane. And then go for a Quake onto the Metagross. Yeah, that Burning Jealousy wasn't exactly the smartest. I mean, I was hoping my opponent would, like, boost their stat. But, like, if I'm max guarding there, there's no way they boost their stats anyway. Okay, if you have Icy Wind, I'm pretty sure your last attack is Brutal Swing, because otherwise I think you go for a Flying type attack there. So, oh, that means no Taunt, though, maybe, right? Which means maybe I can get Trick Room up with Dusclops. Unless you actually don't have Brutal Swing, and I just got Big Brained. Yeah, Venus should faint now, but it's okay. We go into Dusclops, and we try... I mean, if Tornadus didn't have Brutal Swing, then that Burning Jealousy was really bad. Yeah. We have Reflect up. I think the play here is just go into Dusclops and try to Trick Room right now. And if they actually have Taunt as their 4th over Brutal Swing, then I was a complete moron in activating Metagross's Weakness Policy. But that was already a bad play to begin with, and it'll make me feel even worse. So, let's find out. Let us find out. Yeah, it's Sash Tornadus. Just Burning Jealousy here. And Trick Room. Like, we have Glastrier in the back, so Nightshade high horsepower or Pain Split high horsepower probably KOs non-Dynamax Metagross, even if it gets a defense boost, I would think, but let's find out. Here's what's interesting, actually. If you Steel Spike... Well, if you actually have Taunt as your 4th, you just Taunt Dusclops, Steel Spike, Grimmsnarl. But I feel like they don't have Taunt. If you're really running Weakness Policy Metagross with Tornadus, and Tornadus doesn't have Brutal Swing... Yeah, they Icy Wind. Yeah, I knew it. Brutal Swing was definitely their 4th. Here's what's interesting, actually. If you target Dusclops, I burn your Metagross. So I think you have to KO the Grimmsnarl, right? Yeah, they were right in that. So in the end, I basically saved my opponent a turn of Brutal Swinging. But I don't know. What else was I going to do that turn? I guess Light Screen. Okay, now we bring out Glastrier. We protect Glastrier, Nightshade, Metagross, and then double up onto Metagross for a KO the subsequent turn. My opponent's team does not fare very well under Trick Room, I think, so I like our position. Okay, good residual. Tornadus is almost down. Just from residual damage this game, by the way. I don't know if high horsepower into Nightshade KOs Metagross right now. So I think the play is to protect Glastrier, but of course the Metagross for protect, which would be a good play on that end. But if it didn't have a defense boost, I'd be pretty confident on KOing, but it does, right? And we're not Life Orb. So I shall protect, and I shall Nightshade. The problem is that Metagross could easily protect here. And if it does, next turn becomes a doozy. But... what else could I have done this game? As soon as Metagross comes out, I feel like I play towards... Like, I don't think Landorus would have been it in this game, especially against Suicune, Dracovish, and potential Ice Punch Metagross. I wonder, actually, my one question is whether or not Venusaur could have survived the Hailstorm, because we had Reflect Up. Because if the answer is yes, and I absolutely should have just attacked with Venusaur that turn. They protect with Metagross, though. Oh, I don't know if I KO now with the double up next turn. That was a pretty obvious protect as well, so perhaps I should have predicted it. I honestly don't think a double up KOs, so let's find out. When Peter's out, but that doesn't matter. They could miss a steel type attack as well. I mean, I could go for the double, but I think there's maybe a chance we also just pick up the knockout here. It's close. I honestly think Metagross hangs out with like maybe 10%-ish or so, if I had to guess. Oh, you know what the play could... If I'm reading into a Protect last turn, I could have KO'd Tornadus with the Glastrier to get an attack boost. Then the double up on a Metagross is a guaranteed KO. And I think the Protect last turn was so obvious that I should have gone for it. But that's one in which it wasn't like a blatant misplay. Okay. It didn't have Brutal Swing! It was Protect this whole time? Oh, then I actually griefed by, Let's see if this KOs. Okay, thank goodness. We're good anyway. Wow. Sorry, I'm just laughing really hard because I was like, I've got it figured out. Big brain. And it's actually Tapu Bulu as the last one. Man, I have not seen that Pokemon since 2017. Welcome back, my friend. I can't believe it was, What was I doing activating my opponent's weakness policy? That was so bad on my end. We still have 2 turns of Reflect, so I think it's actually pretty much guaranteed win now because we'll win 1v1 against Bulu with Dusclops. I can't believe it wasn't Brutal Swing on Tornadus. Oh, okay. We ended up winning, but like all 3 games today, I did not play perfectly by any means. I made a lot of mistakes actually. And I was making even more mistakes when I was practicing with this team before recording this. So it's a tough team to use, but I think it says a lot of good things that I made as many mistakes as I did and was still able to win the games today. I mean, buying Dusclops is honestly sick. But, wow. That last game was just so funny, though. I can't believe it. This team is really fun. Like, it's just such a different playstyle from what we have been using up till now. So I think it might not be as, like, I don't know. I don't know what you guys enjoy watching. Like, I think some people really enjoy just, like, high-octane, fast-paced offense, and, like, some people like a methodical playstyle, and this definitely is way more methodical, way more slower-paced than, like, your very aggressive kind of games. For better or for worse. I think often if you play with this team, you will see yourself going to a timer quite frequently, but that last game was funny. Tornadus not having Taunt or Brutal Swing is crazy. It was Rain Dance, Tailwind, Icy Wind, Protect there in the end, so yeah. I'm shocked because Metagross was Policy'd as well. So, big mistake to have gone for Burning Jealousy. But I couldn't really... I guess I could have switched out at that point. Yeah. No, but at that point I didn't know if Tornadus had Taunt or not. If I bring in Dusclops, it's kind of useless, right? Especially if my opponent does actually a Brutal Swing. I guess I could have just gone Spirit Break onto Tornadus and gone from there, but my mind is frazzled. That was a really fun set of games, though, so thank you guys as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time. Alright, peace.